Well, I guess we know that when the day comes that Notre Dame athletic director Pete Bevacqua is fired, we'll know exactly why he's been fired. And it's because of his repugnant, smug, douchey actions and words over the past 48 hours after getting left out of the college football playoff. Welcome in to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Cole got caught up in that I-85 mess. He is, my understanding, in the parking lot making his way into the studio momentarily. So the band will be back together in a matter of minutes. But how about this? Pete Bevacqua, who I tend to agree with. I think he's absolutely right on most of what he's had to say. The committee had you in right up until the minute that they didn't. But you know what? Every single college football playoff ranking before the final one is unofficial. It's not real. And if you have this assumption or this idea that it is a lock, that it is going to happen because you've been in the preliminary college football playoff rankings, well then, oh buddy, you're in for a rude awakening. And that's where Notre Dame finds itself. Just a complete and utter failure to read the room. Have you ever heard that phrase before? Yeah, everybody has heard that phrase before, but Pete Bevacqua keeps doubling down on his sentiments and his statements about Notre Dame getting left out of the college football playoff. And there he is. Cole Bryson has made it into the building. Cole, do you want to do a little fire drill right now, or do you want to hop on the other side? Okay, you hop over there. He'll be on here in just a second. But he's missed his opportunity to read the room. So here's what Pete Bevacqua, everybody's heard this part so far. Pete on the Dan Patrick Show had this to say just the other day.
We were mystified by the actions of the conference to attack, their biggest really business partner in football and a member of their conference in 24 of our other sports. And I would tell you, Dan, I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't say that they have certainly done permanent damage to the relationship between the conference and Notre Dame.
What do you mean?
Just we didn't appreciate the fact that we were singled out repeatedly, but it raised a lot of eyebrows here that the conference was taking shots at us. And
so they're in 23 out of 24 sports in the ACC. And he wants to talk about they've done permanent damage to our relationship with them. Give me a damn break, dude. You have a good relationship in 23 out of 24 sports, and you're willing to jeopardize that. You're willing to jeopardize the conference that gave you an in 23 out of 24 of your varsity sports, and you go and pull this.
Can I say I hate I-85? Can I say that? Let me tell you this, Diesel. I've got a comment on that. I also want to say when you get out of your car, and I hope there's no highway patrol listening, okay? If you are listening, turn the radio down.
Uh-oh.
You know how when you get out of your car, Diesel, and you've been in a hurry, like a really big hurry, and you smell that rubber burning?
Yeah.
You really know, like, holy crap. I'm telling you, I hate I-85 with every ounce of my being. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. I'm here. And any other Tolos out there that are in that mess, I literally, Diesel, from Boiling Springs to here, could not get on the interstate. It was that bad.
Really?
I finally did.
You didn't bring your
here.
chopper?
No, it was out of gas. I did not get on the interstate. For anybody listening, coming up 85, like, what is that? 85 south, right? Toward Greenville. Mm-hmm. Good luck. Might want to put this is a good note to always, it doesn't matter, Diesel, if you know where you're going, use your GPS because it tells you there's traffic, Yeah,
but I purposefully don't do what my GPS tells me to do because so many times my GPS has told me to do something that has gotten me into a situation because it doesn't route me around the thing that's the problem.
I know. So what are we talking about?
Talking about Pete Bevacqua and Notre Dame and his failure to read the room, Cole, because you heard that audio. He said they've done permanent damage. Well, if I'm Jim Phillips, I'm saying then go, then walk. We don't need you. We don't want you. Leave. We'll find somebody else. We'll find a replacement. But he has since doubled down on those statements, Cole, and this is where it gets worse. Again, failure to read the room. He has doubled down with the statement that the ACC games sell out roughly 23% of the time, when Notre Dame goes to an ACC site, it sells out 90% of the time. And I am agreeing with Pete Bevacqua. He is right. The data is on his side. But he's failing to read the room and understand that the entire weight of the college football world outside of your little fan base thinks you're being an absolute obtuse jerk.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about it? It's kind of a double-edged sword, you know, when you look at the entirety of Notre Dame's situation, Diesel. And that's what we're talking about, like with him. What was he on the Dan Patrick show? Mm-hmm. Is that what you said?
Yep.
That audio. I think it's a double-edged sword that Notre Dame finds himself in. And you know what? For so many years, Diesel, that double-edged sword hadn't gotten him on the other side. But I think when you live by the three, you die by the three. I think when you're in the situation that Notre Dame's in, you allow yourself to be punished. And again, we talked about it yesterday, and we had Tolos and Leprechaun of linemen and other, people who were upset. Not many. I think you said it. The only people who are upset are Notre Dame fans. But I just find no validity to any of this. I think he's a whiner. And again, I think when you have a double-edged sword, when you live by the three, Diesel, sometimes you die by the three. And unfortunately, Notre Dame's dying by the three.
I tuned into First Take this morning, and I heard Stephen A. Smith going off on Pete Bevacqua and Notre Dame. He had a great point. Here is Stephen A.
They don't have a case. This is very foul comments by Notre Dame. Put on your big boy pants, grow up, and accept accountability for the role you played in all of this. Not just because you're not in a conference, you're an independent. It's because it's only with football. You want to talk about your relationship with the ACC, right? Well, all of these other sports are involved with the ACC, except football. Oh, we want to keep those dollars for ourselves. Now, I had my researcher look it up. Under the most recent media rights agreement extended in 2023 through 2029, Jeff, Notre Dame is estimated to receive about $50 million per year. Now, the Big Ten schools, those numbers are in the 60s. But remember, there's revenue sharing within the schools, that play in a conference. Notre Dame don't have to share with anybody. So here you are with your selfish asses. You're out there being an independent, okay? Sitting up there dictating your schedule, having your own media rights deals. You understand? Able to dictate so many things. And the one thing you can't control, you want to whine and moan about it because your team lost head up to Miami to open the season. Games in August counted. You wanted to play it, right? You went out there and played it and you lost. Then you turn around and you lose to Texas A&M. So you start off the season 0-2. Well, you won 10 straight by an average of 29.7 points. But who did you beat? Your storied victories was over Pittsburgh and USC. There's an APB out for both of those programs when it comes to the college football playoff. Ain't nobody thinking about them. So what are you talking about? So for him to go to Bevacqua going on Dan Patrick show, whining and moaning, nobody want to hear that from him. Y'all did this to yourself.
Hey, guess what? He's right, isn't he?
He's dead right. And you look at this, the teams they actually played. NC State finished with a plus 500 record. Southern Cal finished with a plus 500, and Pitt finished with a plus 500 record. So when he talks about this epic historic run that Notre Dame went on, and hey, 10 wins in a row is an impressive.
Of it is, Diesel, you did this to yourself. Point blank, period. I can't empathize with it.
Here's what Notre Dame should do. Step 1, drink a warm glass of shut the hell up. Step 2, join the Big Ten if you're unhappy with your agreement with the ACC. Become the 19th member.
advocate for whoever you want to be number 20. Iowa State, BYU, Cincinnati, I don't care. Play your 9 conference games. Ask for a permanent conference rivalry against USC.
And then agree in writing that you won't throw another tantrum if the conference says no. Sorry, Notre Dame, we can't give you that USC game every year. We're just going to go to the MAC then.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you said it. I think Steve, believe it or not, I think Stephen A. Smith said it right there. And again, that's why even when you believe that Stephen A. Smith's right, that's when you know that this is the dumbest sports argument. There's nothing to this. There's just no substance here.
You make that move to the Big Ten, you get another $10 million a year. And you get annual matchups against Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, Washington, Southern Cal. You get more money, you get a better schedule, and you get the benefits of being in a conference that makes geographic sense to you, not talking about the West Coast teams.
All right, we're going to switch over to some South Carolina news, but before we do that, let's reset with Steven, who wants to weigh in at 844-326-3663. What's up, Steven?
Hey, guys, this is a great conversation. I'm glad we're having it, but, the Eagles lost yesterday, so how about them Cowboys?
Thank you, Steven.
Wait, are they eliminated yet, or do they have to wait till tomorrow?
No, listen, the best radio segment ever is coming your way at 5:45. I'm so glad you asked that question, Diesel, because
Steven jumped off the phone.
Oh, yeah, mic dropped.
Steven didn't even stay long. I was going to ask him if he heard the audio that we played last week.
He might have, but he mic dropped. He said, yeah, I'm done. Good call. All right, let's switch over.
Do you want to just hold that to the next segment because we're already at the end of this one?
Yeah, what do we have coming up next? I don't even. Let me pull up
South Carolina.
South Carolina,
new OC. That's kind of big news.
Yeah. So let's do that. Let's push Kendall Briles to 322. Tolos, continue your interaction. It is already 312. To your point, that's what 85 causes people to do is late to work.
If you're Jim Phillips, you already made your Charmin Soft statement once, saying, "Oh, we advocate for all of our football institutions." I'm long. Yeah, sleepy Jim Phillips. And he comes out and Bevacqua comes out and doubles down. What's your response now?
If you're Jim Phillips, is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
what's your response?
Phillips.
And I think the response is, my hands are tied. Like, what do you want me to do? And again, I'm not trying to defend Jim Phillips, but
fans want to boot his ass, boot Notre Dame out of the conference.
They do. I don't know that Jim Phillips, I think I said this a couple of days ago, Diesel, I don't know that Jim Phillips is in a great spot. And I know that we've all been critical of Jim Phillips, and rightfully so, but I just think if you look at it and you kind of step back and take a full picture scope of what's happening, I don't know that there's much this guy can do right now. And again, you talked about it, and we said it last week when you talk about adding teams, like Cal and Stanford. He's just trying right now to guide that raft down that river with all that turbulence. And when a little leak pops up, he throws a little duct tape on it, and Stanford with some duct tape, and Cal with some duct tape, and the float, the raft is still just going on down the river. But I just don't think there's much you can do.
There's a word for that. It's called feckless.
Yeah,
feckless. It means there's nothing that you can do, that you're neutered, that you're weak.
Doesn't
that
it
you
feel
can't
like
do
that,
anything
though?
about it. That's exactly what it is. I understand that the ACC needs the revenue that Notre Dame brings in all of its other sports and limited revenue that it brings in football.
I think here's what I think you do, and tell me if I'm wrong on this. I think you give them a very, very lucrative deal to join, and I don't know what you could do, Diesel, from a football standpoint.
Haven't they been offered that already, though?
Maybe so. I'm just thinking, if you do want to save the conference, if you're Jim Phillips, because you asked about Jim in particular, I think you do want to keep Notre Dame on board. But I also do think at the end of the day, my gosh, how many times have we said on this show, results freaking matter. And if you're getting upset as the Notre Dame AD and you think this is Jim Phillips' fault, or you think, whoever's fault you think this is, you've got to look at your team and say, guys, we didn't win.
If I recall correctly, Notre Dame also wanted some sort of guarantee to get Stanford and Clemson on the schedule every year, which they
sounds right.
We're not going to be able to get. The conference was not willing to make that concession to them.
But don't you feel like
main character syndrome? Notre Dame feels like they're the main character in all of college football, and they are learning with a rude awakening that they're not. But here's the truth. If they said, all right, Jim, it's been fun, we're out, you've done the damage, we're not going to stick around for this anymore, they'd get snapped up by another conference in a heartbeat.
I think that
if that's the route they wanted to go.
Yeah, I just think there is some added value to try to figure out how to get them to keep them on board. Last year it was us talking about Clemson and Florida State and how long that saga went on, right? I think there is added value. Obviously, you say, Cole, well, we know what kind of value Notre Dame brings to TV ratings or anything like that, and the partnership they have with NBC, right? Mm-hmm. There's value there. The value can be seen clearly. I just think that when you look at the ACC in totality, I think he's in a tough spot. I don't know that this year definitely helps.
Does the ACC get any of that value from the deal with NBC? I don't think they do, right? Because Notre Dame holds the exclusive rights on that. That's part of the reason why they're only a half member of the ACC. I don't think Notre Dame has to share any of that sweet NBC
Well, you know what
money.
the ACC needs to do? Here's the bottom line. I've got the solution right here. Stop your car. Stop the press. Here's what we need to do. It's Christmas time. We were talking about the movie yesterday. The ACC needs to get mad and find a cousin Eddie that can go pull up to NBC's house and kidnap him out of the middle of the bed, or kidnap him out of the bed in the middle of the night, tie him up, and bring him in and basically hold him to gunpoint and say, look here, this is what we're going to do. We don't care about your TV revenue deal and all these rights and all this big NBC money. We want a Jelly of the Month club. This is going to happen. You've got to force them to it. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I think that's a great idea, don't you?
I would play the audio of Clark Griswold's rant, but it is so full of expletives.
Oh, you can't play any audio in that movie.
We can't play it. But I think that's exactly how Jim Phillips probably feels about Pete Bevacqua right now. That he's a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, flushing, low life, snake licking, dirt eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood sucking, rotten, flushing, low life, dog kissing, brainless, hopeless, heartless, fat, you know what, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey. Hallelujah, holy bleep, where's the Tylenol?
That was incredible. That is just off the cuff. You just memorized that, didn't you?
I didn't know.
No, you memorized it.
No.
I like the part where he's actually walking out of the office and all the guys are walking by in a line, and you can't say those words on the other.
Merry Christmas,
kiss,
Happy Hanukkah, kiss my you
what?
Yeah.
I love it.
His what?
I love it. It's the best. It is the absolute best. Last thing, the ACC, would it do them good? Like I've seen this tossed around on social media. I think we've talked about it. You got to get rid of Jim Phillips. That's going around. Well, who? Who's going to get rid of Jim Phillips? That's this notion that's going around that I don't understand. That who? Everybody wants him fired. Who's going to fire him?
Work at the pleasure of the athletic directors, kind of like Roger Goodell,
right? So that's my fear with that. That's my fear.
And how do you replace the revenue? You probably can't replace instantly the revenue that Notre Dame adds to the pot, even though it's not all of the revenue that Notre Dame should be adding to the conference. How do you replace it? You probably can't. You can't afford to go pull Cincinnati and West Virginia and whoever else to try to add up to the same amount of money that Notre Dame brings. You're just not going to replace it. And Notre Dame knows that. And that's why Jim Bevacqua or Pete Bevacqua knows that he can say the things that he's saying.
It's true. I'll tell you this. I think every ACC fan, if you're a fan of the conference, I think you'd like to see Notre Dame involved in football. Right. And it not just to be other sports, because the other sports just doesn't hold a lot of weight. But I don't know that they're going to get anywhere. Again, I think it's a lose-lose situation. Tolo's Gamecock fans specifically, we're coming to you. South Carolina. Looks like Beamer has found his next offensive coordinator. Are you kidding me? We'll get to it next. Well, Gamecock fans, how do you feel now? What are we talking about? South Carolina. Shane Beamer Diesel making the look 2026 a lot better than 2025 was. If you don't know, if you haven't heard, Beamer has found his next offensive coordinator. That's right, late into the night last night. It was finally broke by Pete Bevacqua, and now pretty much every outlet has it, including 247. A lot of good work done by those beat writers in Columbia. John Whittle, Wes Mitchell, different outlets doing good work there. South Carolina finalizing a deal with Kendall Briles to become the next offensive coordinator for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Thamel wrote on his X account, South Carolina is finalizing a deal to hire TCU's Kendall Briles as the school's new offensive coordinator. An agreement is expected to come in the near future. Gamecock fans, we want to hear from you at 844-326-3663. Diesel, your immediate reaction to this?
Well, when a fan base is saying, yippee, Kendall Briles is leaving, that doesn't bode well. Look, I mean, his numbers were impressive on paper. Put up, was it 420 some odd yards of offense a game last year?
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. It looks really, really good. If that's the case, if they were able to do that, why isn't TCU in the playoff? Shouldn't they be in the playoff if they're putting up 430 yards of offense every single game, or at least have been near the conversation? From what I'm seeing, TCU fans are not too bummed out. But I will say this, somebody in the State House is going to have to send TCU a Christmas gift for just victimizing that program the way that the state of South Carolina has.
It's true.
Garrett Riley to Clemson, and then it's the athletic director, Jeremiah Donati, to South Carolina, and now it's Kendall Briles to South Carolina. This state is just eating their lunch.
You know, I did see some good reaction kind of going off of what you said from TCU fans. And I think what I've settled on, Diesel, the common denominator, is this. TCU fans are mad that they have Kendall Briles. Well, then he leaves. And now TCU fans are excited that they don't have to watch 8-yard slant patterns over and over and over again. And South Carolina Gamecock fans are saying, wait, you can throw slant patterns past 4 yards? We'll take them. Sign us up. Are you kidding me? Bring this guy here.
Did you not see what happened in the back half of the season once they fired Shula? They started throwing it out in the flats.
Yeah.
And slants.
Yeah.
And they started picking up yards. They're like, wait a minute, that works over here.
It works. Look, I think this is interesting to set the scene, to set the table a little bit. Kendall Briles, he played college football at Texas, also at Houston, as a safety and a wide receiver. So spent time in college and pros. He began his coaching career, Diesel, at Baylor, 2008 to 2016. So significant time in the state of Texas, serving as a receivers coach, passing game coordinator, and eventually offensive coordinator, 2015-2016. Since then, Briles has been, what was the game? Hopscotch you played in high school, or you go right foot, 2 feet down, left foot, 2 feet down, right?
Yeah.
He's been at Florida Atlantic, 2017. He's been at Houston in 2018. He was at Florida State, 2019. He was at Arkansas, 2020 to 2022. Now he's at TCU, or was at TCU for 2 years, 2023 to 2025. And now in 2025, Briles is finalizing a deal to become the next OC. Diesel, and I just want to know from Gamecock fans out there, phone lines are starting to line up again. 844-326-3663 is the phone number. Hub City Spartanburgers text line is open. Phone lines are wide open. We want to hear from Gamecock fans, especially in this very segment. Is there any worry about a guy who has literally been at 5 different destinations in the past 7 years?
Well, it does worry me, as you were talking about 8-yard slant patterns. You try to throw the slant across the middle in the SEC, you're going to get somebody killed. Like
no.
Somebody. I mean, you're going to have to up my NIL deal. Does Blue Cross Blue Shield offer NIL deals? Because by God, if I'm having to run across the middle and take shots from SEC linebackers game in and game out, they're going to need to get like 30 receivers to play that position.
844-326-3663. If you just tuned into the show, we're talking South Carolina. We're talking Kendall Briles, not Art Briles, Kendall Briles, veteran play caller, Power 5 SEC experience, not his first time as OCC, someone who has run major offenses for a decade, has a good track record, a good style, high-powered, explosive offenses. Want to hear from you, Gamecock fans, on the stream. A few comments there already. And we go to the phone lines at 844-326-3663. Kev wants to weigh in. What's up, Kev?
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm chilling, man. Hey, man, let me tell you like this, bro. Do not ruin your career by going to South Carolina and call plays. Because you going down there, Mike Bobo, you fire him, guess what he about to be doing here in a few weeks if they keep their life together?
National championship.
Playing in, right. So somebody is not developing players the right way down there, or something like they can't get nobody. Something is not happening, bro. Like offensive linemen ain't going because you getting good play callers down there. Somebody is not getting to not trusting their receivers, not trusting these guys they calling these plays in for, or something. But something is not right down there, and they need to figure it out. Steve Spurrier figured it out, and it's not, and it wasn't spoiling guys and getting them what they want. So it can be done. You just got to find the right one who's gonna stand up and hold people accountable and make them see it the right way.
Yeah, Kev, it's hard to win a lot of SEC games when you got 1 or 2 5-stars out there and a bunch of 3-stars. When Georgia and Bama and all those schools have nothing but 5-stars all over the place.
But you still can put up some points here and there. You got these 3 points here too. You got 30 at the half, and you end up with 30 at the end of the fourth quarter. Like, get a first down. A lot of that is players. The coach can call what he want to call, but you got to get in there and play football. 5-star, 3-star, no star. If you put that helmet on, you got to go play.
I'm with you. Kev, great phone call as always. Appreciate you, man. 844-326-3663. So that begs the question. Like, I think Kev's got a good point there. But we also know, Diesel, that coordinators can, like, make or break teams. Coordinators can take you to a national championship. Coordinators can turn you into a dynasty. Ask Dabo Swinney. I understand where Kev's coming from, but at the same time, South Carolina's had talent. They've had dudes.
You got Nick Harbor. You got Lenore Sellers.
Why have they not had a coordinator that's able to do both? Develop guys. I mean, it is on the coordinator. If you're a quarterback coach, it's your job to develop a quarterback, right?
So you know how we always talk about Tom Brady and his ability to make other players, even if they're not elite skill set, elite size, they make them look better, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the opposite for Shane Beamer. Maybe Shane Beamer somehow finds a way, unintentionally, to stamp out the best in somebody. I mean, look, if TCU fans are upset with the way this guy calls plays, do you really think Shane Beamer can step in and help Kendall Briles change his offense, fix his offense, add new wrinkles to his offense? No, I mean, I'm not saying that Shane is an idiot and doesn't understand offensive football. I'm just saying that that's not his strong suit.
No, I don't disagree with that. I would say this. Beamer has needed a guy that's overpowering, in my opinion. Beamer, and we're going to get to the text line in a second in the stream as well. Beamer has needed a guy at coordinator who's overpowering in the sense of, like, Diesel, I know that, like, different teams have different dynamics, but I've thought that Beamer needs that, like, that alpha. Beamer needs that guy that's going to come in and say, look, y'all just go call timeouts. Let me handle this. And maybe Kendall Briles can be that guy. I don't know that he is. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a Kendall Briles expert by any means, but I do believe you're onto something from the aspect of Beamer knows what his strong suit is, being special teams. The reality of it is special teams doesn't win football games consistently in the SEC. It just doesn't. Having good special teams is good. Not saying it's not good, but you got to be more than a special teams coach. And Diesel, I think if Shane Beamer got the right guy in with that alpha personality, maybe Kendall Briles is him that says, guys, I know what I'm doing. Y'all sit back. Y'all call timeouts. Let me handle the play calling. And you just take a back seat. I think that's the best thing that could happen to Beamer.
I hope for South Carolina's sake that Kendall Briles can be that guy. He has done wonders at multiple stops before. He took Arkansas in 2 years from the 101st best offense in the country to 27th. He has the ability to rapidly increase and improve offenses.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm not poo-pooing the hire. I'm not poo-pooing
Let's see.
it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a wait and see. And you got 1 year. I mean, you got such a small sample. You might have only had 1 year with him anyway, because who knows? He might have been hired off somewhere else next year.
Well, I think this is an important piece of keeping Lenoris. You know, if you talk about keeping Sellers, if Sellers is happy with Kendall Briles, I think this is an important piece. And with Lenoris, I think that maybe you look at the situation and say, yeah, 1 year, that's tough. But guess what? We can go get some puzzle pieces.
Hey, TCU's quarterback was a stud this year.
He was.
He put up a lot of numbers.
Texter from the 304 says, I like the Briles hire. Trying something new is a good thing. No, we need the new offensive line coach to be good and have a great offensive line going forward. I think the offensive line, the text there about the offensive line is a good point because, Diesel, we know we talked about it for how many days now. The trenches is where South Carolina was weak this year, right? Up front, line of scrimmage was not their strong suit. So having a guy, I'm not saying have a guy that can come in and call plays, high efficient plays with a horrible offensive line. I'm just saying have a guy who can come in and be able to adapt. Look, South Carolina has to be better up front. There's no question. But this guy does have a proven record, Diesel. In 2015, he produced 48.1 points per game, 616 yards per game, one of the most productive offenses in NCAA history at Baylor. Hey, Diesel, in 2016, they said all he does is throw the ball. Well, in 2016, he led the Big 12 in rushing. Briles did as the OC at 241.2 yards per game. And Arkansas, you know how putrid of an offense. I mean, we're talking about Arkansas, 2020, COVID year. Arkansas averaged 391.5 yards per game. Diesel, that was more than a 50-yard improvement from the previous season. 2021, the next year, 441 per game, ranking inside the top 30 nationally at Arkansas. 2022, he ranked 7th nationally in rushing, 236 per game, finished with 3,000 yards. By the way, that was the most for Arkansas since 2003. 2023, he goes to TCU. TCU finished top 15 in total offense, right? He's got a style with tempo, spacing, and balance that has proven to be effective. If that can translate to South Carolina, maybe Shane Beamer's onto something.
Well, here's something that concerns me. Quarterback Josh Hoover at TCU this year had almost 3,500 yards. He had a ton of yards.
A lot of yards.
And that's awesome. You can air the ball out, get the ball downfield. That's great. But can you sustain drives on the ground when you need to? You have to be able to do that in the SEC to be able to win. And TCU this year kind of seems to have spread the ball around between multiple running backs. Nobody had a monster season. Jeremy Payne, 550 yards. Kavorian Barnes, 443 yards. Trent Battle, 350 yards. And then nobody else over 200. So they spread the ball around between three backs. Obviously a clear hierarchy in 1, 2, and 3 there.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they have to get it on the ground, I'm not sure that I trust a Kendall Briles offense in the SEC.
I think there's still, like we said, a lot of wait and see. I think there's still some wait and see with it. Could it happen? Could it work? I think it could work. But I think there's nothing wrong with being not totally optimistic.
Yeah.
Not totally, down in the dumps about it. I think there's an area where you're just okay waiting to see how it plays out because you know how important this season is for Shane Beamer. You know how important it is to try to retain Lenoris Sellers. If that's possible, if you told me today, Diesel, on the 9th day of December, that in 2026 I'm going to see Lenoris paired with Kendall Briles, hey, I like it. Let's see what happens. But retaining these guys, man, I mean, let's see if that can happen first, because what if Kendall Briles is having to turn Cutter Woods or somebody else into a QB1. Then it's a different story we're talking about, right?
I do find it interesting that Shane did not send out his customary "We got our guy" tweet.
I don't think it's been finalized yet.
That might be
I don't
why.
think the contract,
That
from what
might
I've
be
been
why.
told,
Ink isn't dry yet.
I guess him and Beamer are arguing over commas, comma placement. I don't know how those conversations go.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's finalized in terms of the ink being dry, to your
And
point.
look, we don't know how far down the road, if at all, because internet rumors are just that the looking at John David Baker, the OC at East Carolina, he's now going to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
And so it's possible that Shane Beamer not going with his first choice.
It's true. And then guess what? There were rumors that he didn't go with his first choice last time. And rumors he wanted Garrett Riley. So we shall see. We've got to get to our headlines, the Daily Wires, next.
with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
What's happening in the world of sports? Tolos, don't be the guy that don't know anything about sports at work or when you go home because you didn't turn it on and leave it on. We do a segment every single day on this show called Our Daily Wires. Buzz. It's the buzz. I don't even know why our producer's not playing the buzz music. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Stupid. There we go. Correct music's now playing. It is our sports headlines. The Chargers defeated the Eagles in overtime last night. I think I'm going to cry. I think I'm going to shed a tear, Diesel. 22-19 on Monday night. Jalen Hurts, boy, what a night he had. Not one, not two, not three, 4 turnovers, including 2 on one play. The injured Justin Herbert threw for 139, a touchdown, and 1 interception in the win. Not a great night for him, but Diesel, what has happened? 3 losses in a row. What has happened to the Philadelphia Eagles?
I blame poor upbringing, to be honest.
Maybe. I love it.
People.
I am so happy. I will absolutely find joy in their downfall. It's official. We talked about it. South Carolina looks to be hiring TCU's offensive coordinator, Kendall Briles. Their offense ranked 8th nationally in passing this season, 312 yards per game. Ole Miss has tapped former ECU offensive coordinator John David Baker as its next offensive coordinator. No Charlie Weiss. What happened to Charlie? Huh? Charlie?
He's not sticking around. He's going back to Lane's heels, I guess.
What do you mean? Charlie's going to Ole Miss.
He knows where his bread is buttered.
That's interesting, though, man. That really is. Clemson has reported that it sold $1.82 million in books and alcohol at Memorial Stadium in the 2025 season. Its first year selling alcoholic beverages.
How about that?
Making a moolah.
You fought it, and then boom, $2 million. Isn't it great?
I'll tell you what I'd like to know. Number one, I'm surprised that number wasn't higher. Number two, well, I saw the prices. They were outrageous. It looked like a lot of people, like the games I went to, it didn't look like a lot of people were buying it as much as you would think. People, they were tailgating all day.
Well, remember a couple of years ago when Arthur Blank for the Falcons dropped all of their concession stands by 50% and then sold twice as many concessions.
It's true. I would like to know what the profit they made on that was. If they sold 1.82, what was their, what they come out green like? I don't know. We'll see. Man, what about this? 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. Why are we talking about Phillip Rivers? Diesel, 44 years old, longtime star quarterback who retired after 2020.
Good Lord. Has it been that long?
Yep. 17th in the NFL. That was his 17th season. He is rejoining the Indianapolis Colts on their practice squad.
What's the matter? Troy Aikman wasn't available?
Really? Tony Romo, Troy Aikman. I mean, my gosh. So sources told ESPN amid an injury crisis that has left them with 3, not 1, not 2, 3 sideline quarterbacks. Oof. Daniel Jones got hurt. And then, the guy from Notre Dame last year went in. He got hurt. Riley. Yep. Leonard got hurt. And then Anthony Richardson, I think he stays hurt so he doesn't have to play. I don't know if that's true or not, but
can't be a bust if you never play.
That's a good point. Ask Charlie Whitehurst. Yeah. I don't know.
Couldn't get Terry Bradshaw to come off of the Fox broadcast to come be your quarterback?
I don't know. Fran Tarkenton, I don't know if he wasn't available, but this is interesting with Phillip Rivers.
I mean, Terry already has brain damage. What's one more hit to the head?
That guy's got to be taken off the air, by the way. Like, every time he opens his mouth now, it's just like, is this dude okay? Is this dude all right?
CTE's a hell of a thing. Especially when it's undiagnosed.
It just doesn't sound good for whatever reason. Let's see. In addition to Charlie Weiss Jr., 4 more LSU assistants are rejoining Ole Miss for its playoff run. Tight end coach Joe Cox, wide receiver coach George McDonald, assistant quarterback coach Dane Stevens, and slot wide receiver coach Sawyer Jordan have gone back to Oxford for the playoff run. So are you telling me, Diesel, that those players were on the plane? I mean, those coaches were on the plane?
Yeah, I think they were. I think it's because Lane's scared of Tulane. They need everybody there to beat Tulane. It's a scary thing. That green wave, man.
Diesel, I have no idea how that happened. Hopefully we get a 30 for 30 on that one day. But my goodness, man, that is wild. right there. 8-0 Arizona. They've risen to the number 1 spot in the men's AP poll. Michigan 2, Duke 3, Iowa State 4, and UConn 5. How about that? Where's Clemson? Where's Clemson in the top 5?
Well, they lost the other day, so they're not in there.
Well, they are back in action tonight, Diesel. A huge non-conference game. What a big game. What a statement win this could be tonight. Number 10 BYU. BYU Diesel tonight against Clemson. They're favored by 6.5 points. This game is in New York City. Madison Square Garden, the place to play basketball, environment that, Clemson players would never imagined being able to play in. So kudos to them for being able to play in.
So dismissive.
Well, it is. Hey, let's think about it, though. In the same month.
They played there in the NIT before, haven't they?
Maybe so.
Oh, no, they only get to play there if they make the championship
with the NIT.
Yeah,
Think about this, though. Far. How cool is it if you're a basketball player in the month of December getting to play at Madison Square Garden for Clemson? If you're a football player, you get to play in Yankee Stadium. It's cool. And the baseball players are thinking, well, when do we get to play in? MetLife? When are we going to get our shot over here? Bob Jones tonight at Furman. Tip set for 6:30. You will hear Dan Scott on the call at Fan Upstate starting at 6. I don't know why I know this, but I did look earlier. There is no line set for this one, according to Vegas. So
I don't even think ESPN.com has the Bob Jones logo.
Do they even know who Bob Jones? Who's Bob?
Is that the coach?
Bob Fernand's coach. No, Bob Rich. Huh? What's going on here? Rumors suggest this one's kind of interesting. Rumors suggest that Garrett Riley has been in talks to become the next head coach at Coastal Carolina. Huh?
Yeah.
Which could include bringing multiple staffers with him.
That's fascinating because I know that I asked Grayson Mann multiple times about Garrett Riley's prospects at the end of the season, and he said, no way. No way would Garrett Riley be the head coach of a G5 program. He is better than that. Well, I guess not.
It'd be interesting if he did take that.
I think it'd be a great job. I think it'd be great there.
If he does take it, I think just suggesting here, I think he should take Mickey Kahn. I think he should make sure you take all of the guys, Tyler Grisham, who are involved in recruiting so we can start over, clean house. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that.
He's just jealous looking across the way at Dow Loggins making all that Sunbelt money.
A reminder that this week we will be picking pre-Christmas bowls that will include the Army-Navy game. So next week we will be picking post-Christmas bowls. That starts tomorrow. Diesel, is that right?
That's right. Tomorrow,
Wednesday.
4 o'clock.
Breaking news earlier today. How about this? Clemson president Jim Clements, who had a deal going through 2031, is retiring. Like now, at the end of the month.
Oh.
Yeah. Makes you Clemson has presided, or Clements has presided over the university since December 31st, 2013. Very interesting, Diesel, to close out the Daily Wires there. It just makes you go, huh?
Why?
A long deal.
Why?
I mean, if you had a deal in place for another, 6 years to make that kind of money?
I would stay. I'd stay until they had to wheel me into every single meeting. When we come back, call the Carolina Panthers. Don't look now. The Carolina Panthers control their destiny. And it's been a long time since we've had a chance to say that, but they got to get past those pesky New Orleans Saints that whooped them a couple of weeks ago. Let's do a little deep dive on this Panthers and Saints game, a little scheme, a little matchup head-to-head. Who's going to win this? Who's going to win that? And some injury news next.
and Cole Bryson.
On the Fan Upstate.
Hurricane Jeff texting in, wanting to know where's his tickets for Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He also wants to know, where am I in the Upset Picks Challenge? Hurricane Jeff, you're talking like a Notre Dame fan.
Give me this. Give me that.
Give me. Tell me. Do this for me. Do that for me. Hurricane Jeff, what do we do with the standings every single week? We put them up on our Facebook and our Twitter accounts at The Fan Upstate. It's there. All the Tolos know it's there.
No, you forgot about something. Oh. We do. We have been taking a copy and printing it out and taking it by the gas station for Hurricane Jeff to pick up. Did you forget to do that this week?
I didn't do it. Sorry. I took it to the QT in Malden, but not to the QT on Woodruff.
That was a little cricket in Boiling Springs. What are you? Come on.
Hurricane Jeff. I know I'm ripping you, but I'm just trying to prove a point. Hurricane Jeff, you are in 4th place right now with 46.5 points. My man's doing really, really well for himself. You got a long way to go.
To
catch up with Dave. He also won tickets to TSO. Yeah,
man,
24 hours.
He's gonna be. Wait.
24 hours before.
That's this Friday.
It's this Friday.
Oh, yeah. A little TSO. Are you going?
No, I'll be here.
Well, a late show.
They don't give us tickets for that.
No late show. You know, you and I should be live from there. Don't you think?
You want to broadcast out front? What if we just win? What can they do to stop us?
Nothing.
We just come in here. We turn the board on and up, and then we just go set up out there and just do it.
Let's just do it. I want to be like inside though, like when this is playing and like you and I talking. I don't know. I've never been to TSO.
No. Well, you better schmooze somebody to get tickets.
No, never been. And I only know one song. It's this one. This is the only one I know.
Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Cole Bryson. I'm Diesel. And oh my God, the Carolina Panthers, Cole, are in the hunt for the playoffs. Believe it or not.
Exactly.
Not the Pitt Panthers.
What?
Definitely not the Chapman Panthers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers.
Wow.
You know those ones up there in Charlotte that operate there in Midtown Manhattan, the place Midtown Charlotte, where they finally started bringing concerts to the Carolinas. Thank you very much to the Tepper family for achieving that milestone for us. But hey, Cole, the Carolina Panthers have a I would say a tough game this weekend against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are awful.
Yeah,
Saints are awful. They're 3-10. Let me rephrase it. They're not awful. Their defense isn't bad. Their offense just isn't good. Yet they somehow keep finding ways to victimize the NFC South. They beat the Bucs this past weekend. They beat the Carolina Panthers a couple of weeks ago, and the Carolina Panthers absolutely have to win this game on the road in New Orleans to keep those hopes alive.
You know, I think it's a good thing, though. Hear me out, Diesel. I think it's a good thing if you're a Panther fan. You, others in the upstate, if you're a Panther fan, by the way, let's hear from you. 844-FAN phone. We need to know who the Panther fans are out there in the audience that are listening. It's a good thing, I think, that Tampa Bay lost to these horrible, you said it, horrible New Orleans Saints. Why? Hey, they've got Carolina's attention now. You don't have to worry about Carolina overlooking these guys. They just beat Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
6 days, a few days ago. It'll be, 6-7 days by the time they play. I think that's a good thing that they beat the Bucs. It shows that what they can do. You've got to take them serious.
Yeah, and the Bucs now know that every game is must win. Carolina Panthers, every game is must win. And again, that's not a place the Carolina Panthers have been for a long, long time. Now, Bryce Young historically has been pretty bad when it comes to playing the New Orleans Saints. Bryce is 1-4 lifetime against the Saints. He has not beaten New Orleans on the road.
Huh?
Yeah, it's not good.
1-4?
1-4. Not 1-4, but 1-4.
Wow.
Against the Saints. But I will give him this. In those 5 games, those 4 losses, 2 of those losses have been 1-score games.
Okay.
So it's not like Carolina was getting blown out. Now, you go back and you look at the box scores on those 2 games. Bryce was terrible in those games. He was not good. Averaging kind of where the low end of what Bryce averages.
Yeah.
150 yards, 120 yards, 160 yards in those performances.
Last year, what they do, they beat them. And so that's his only win last year in Bank of America at the end of the year. Well, not the end of the year, November 3rd, 23-22. And then they opened the season last year with a 47-10 loss. So that November win for Bryce Young's his only win.
Got to be a terrible taste in Bryce's mouth, right? I mean, and hey,
Yeah.
This Bryce Young, we don't know who's going to show up for this game. Could be 450-yard Bryce Young, could be 150-yard Bryce Young. We don't know who's going to show up. But this Bryce Young, who's on this team right now, has been steadily improving as the season moves along. So I got higher hopes for Bryce in this game than I probably would have any other time.
Well, I'll tell you what concerns you if you're the Carolina Panthers or a Panthers fan out there. And again, we want to hear from you at 844-326-3663. Diesel, what I don't understand is, look, the concern for me is what happened back in November. Not last year, this year. What happened? You said it. Bryce Young has improved. Bryce Young is getting better. The Carolina Panthers won 4 out of 5 games.
Yep.
They lost to the Patriots. It was bad. It was at New England. New England's a really good team. Then they come back and lose the Bills. It's not close, right? Okay, whatever. But the next week you come and you beat Green Bay at Lambeau. You go to Lambeau and win. That is really hard to do.
Yep.
But then the very next week you host at that time, 1-win New Orleans Saints team, and you lost. You gave them their second win. That's a bad loss. So that concerns me. 17-7 back on November the 9th, exactly 1 month ago. There's concern there because we've talked about it on this show. Bryce Young, yeah, he's getting better, but how do you explain performances like that, Diesel? How do you explain that?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, the Bryce Young apologists will say, well, it's just a bad game for Bryce.
Had a lot of those.
But the rest of us are saying, well, that's just an average game for Bryce. That's how Bryce typically plays. So he's slowly, steadily increasing, still a little inconsistent, but his inconsistency, I think, has risen just a little bit to where maybe he's somewhere between 200 and 400 yards per game. It's not going to be somewhere between 100 and 175 yards per game. So I like Carolina's chances in this one. I'm not even going to wager a prediction because every time I do that,
no, you got to.
No, every time I do that, this team goes the complete opposite direction. So maybe I should say Bryce Young is going to go throw for 111 yards and 2 interceptions in this game so that he goes out and puts up 400 yards.
Well, no, he might. He's liable to.
Anything could happen.
That's what I'm saying. You never know.
Anything is possible.
What was his first year? 2023, his rookie season. They went 2-15. They did not. I was looking to see when's the last time that they actually beat the Saints twice in a season. It's been a while, and they had an opportunity to do so. I mean, they're a better team. And while this team is improving this year, while they're getting better, those are the things you look back on and you think, man, we just can't lose games. I know it's the NFL. I know they've got guys out there, but you can't lose. I know Chase Young's hard to block, but you can't lose games like that when you just completely don't show up. So I don't know. While there have been a ton of positives, I find myself, Diesel, when it comes to Carolina, I find myself like a stovetop. You know, it's you want to, as a kid, you want to touch it to see if it's hot, but you know it's. I mean, you just don't know. Do you trust?
Some people got to touch the stove for themselves to learn not to touch it.
You don't know. That's where I am. I want to believe. I want to believe in this team. I want to believe in Santa Claus. I can't.
What I do like about this situation right now going into this weekend is that the Carolina Panthers were a little banged up, but they've had an extra week to rest up. Pat McMillan had that little ankle injury that may slow them down or may slow him down just a little bit. Saints are going to be without Alvin Kamara. They're going to be possibly without wide receiver Chris Olave, and they are possibly going to be without their really good safety, Justin Reed. So if Ted McMillan is healthy and he's out there, running routes, crossing paths without or with whoever is going to replace Justin Reed, you got to like his chances because I think Ted is a really good wide receiver, especially when you look at what Brandon Staley defenses try to take away. I think this Carolina Panthers team can find some success. Let's go to the phone lines and bring in Dewey.
Oh,
Is that your mom in the background, Dewey?
yes. Mom, be quiet. I got one thing to say about this Bryce Young situation.
Okay.
And you leave my mom alone.
Sorry.
Secondly,
What's her name? What's her name?
Priscilla.
Sorry.
But anyways, think about it now. The argument about Bryce Young being the guy is Bryce Young going to be the man, and he's going to be the man going forward, blah, blah, blah. Well, the next 4 games will prove whether or not Carolina Panthers need to move on from Bryce Young, because it's up to Bryce Young or Bruce Young or whatever his name is
That's his
to
dad.
be a leader, get this team to the playoffs, get them over the hump. And whether or not they win a playoff game, it's irrelevant. But if they fail to do this, it's an easy task because the Saints suck. Tampa Bay is falling apart, and that's all they got. Their road to the playoffs is not to screw up the Saints and win 1 out of the 2 against Tampa Bay. That's it. It's simple. If Bruce Young screws this up, then Bryce Young or whoever, he needs to take his 4'10" self and leave. And Carolina Panthers need to move on from him. If he could do it, then he could be a leader, and then next year could be even a better year.
Thanks, Dewey.
Let me say,
I don't know that it's a referendum on Bryce Young, and I certainly don't think if he gets him into the playoffs, it's irrelevant. Come on, Dewey. That's a huge deal for this team.
so if they get into the playoffs, I think, and I want to bring something up here because Dewey did, believe it or not, Dewey did get me thinking on something. And he brings up an interesting aspect of this conversation. Let's say Bryce makes the playoff. I think if Bryce Young leads his team to the playoff, the NFL playoff, I think you, as a GM, Dan Morgan, everybody else, director of player personnel, owner, Waterboy, you name it. I think you have a feeling of, okay, Bryce is getting better. He brought us to the playoff. We've got to stick with him. However, what if to Dewey's point there, and this is where I go back to Dan Morgan's job is so vital, Diesel, and the people that Dan Morgan are surrounded by, because hear me out on this. What if they lose Sunday? What if they lose Sunday? Yeah. What I'm asking is, I guess the question that I'm getting at is, how do you know if you're Dan Morgan, how to properly evaluate Bryce Young on good games, bad games? That was a really good game. That's going to be the normal Bryce Young.
Yeah.
That was a really bad game. That's not. What I'm getting at is I think the talent evaluation process of Bryce Young in the NFL, because it's so up and down, I think it makes a guy like Dan Morgan's job, Diesel, incredibly difficult. Because if I'm him,
yeah,
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. You want to have a consistent high-level quarterback on your team. And if Bryce is not a consistent high-level quarterback, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, he might be able to take you out and beat the Rams every now and again.
But he shows flat, yeah.
But he'll also go out and lose to the Saints. He'll go out and lose to teams that he shouldn't lose to. So that's a great reason why maybe next year, I don't know how many more years Andy Dalton's going to stand there and hold the clipboard, but
yeah,
it certainly gives you a good reason to maybe go in the free agency market, try to pull somebody who you think might be a little more consistent, or start looking at quarterbacks in the draft. I mean, the Panthers are going to finish middle of the pack, maybe back into the first round now. They're not going to go out and get an elite level quarterback. Good thing is there's not really an elite level quarterback in the draft this year. Nobody that's going to blow you away, at least. So I don't know. Maybe the league all decides we're going after running backs and receivers, and we're going to leave quarterbacks until a little bit later on. And maybe somebody that you didn't expect is going to be there. Just don't draft Cade Clement. Don't draft Cade Clement.
No. Tolos, what do you think on this? 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-326-3663. I think it's a fascinating conversation, Diesel, because you and I, like, we have to watch a lot of football, and I've watched a lot of quarterbacks over the years, and I've seen some good ones, and I've seen some bad ones. There's not many quarterbacks that make me do this. Bryce Young's one of these quarterbacks where I find myself like questioning myself.
Yeah.
Oh, is that going to be
good?
good?
Is that bad?
I don't know.
Right.
And there aren't many quarterbacks. You're either usually bad, like Anthony Richardson. We all know that guy's no. Right now, that guy's just bleh. Like there's nothing that he has shown in the NFL that makes us think. Shedeur Sanders on the other side, he's shown some upside early. Very, very small sample size. But with Bryce, you've had what, 2000? How much do you play in 2000? I forget how much he played in 2023. 2020,
like halfway through the season,
something like that, right? 2024, and then the entire season of 2025. So you got a pretty good sample size. It's just hard to kind of gauge where this guy is.
Don't overlook the inconsistencies and statistically mediocre play because you're enamored with the 3 or 4 phenomenal games that he had.
But then
and don't forget that beating the Rams, he didn't look good in the win against the Rams. It took not Sam Darnold, God, I'm blanking on his name, Matt Stafford throwing like 37 picks to be in that game and to win it.
It's true, but on the flip side, to play devil's advocate, if you have a quarterback in the NFL that can show signs and show flashes like Bryce Young has, you're 400, 300. You think to yourself, if you're a GM, you think, if we can get the right pieces around this cat, we might be okay. So I think that's where like the tug of war, Diesel, becomes really difficult because you've seen so many good signs. Like if Bryce stunk it up all year this year, and this is a 2-year team we're talking about right now, who's going to be the next Panthers quarterback? Yeah, that's not the case, though.
Well,
so
I
we'll
think
see.
Bryce is playing well enough right now that you don't have to worry about the quarterback position
right now.
You don't have to. So if that means building more wide receivers, if it means building more offensive line depth, if it means building a better running back, better tight ends, whatever it may be, you can focus on that and continue to build up a great team so that when you are ready to pull the trigger on a quarterback that you think is better than Bryce Young, you could just do it. And he can walk in and have a great tight end room and have a great wide receiver core because they still need to do a lot of work in the wide receiver room. I mean, come on. It's time to cut bait on Xavier Legette. He's taking up a roster spot at this point.
That's tough. That's a tough.
Am I wrong though?
No, I mean he's just not consistent. I mean he's shown games where you want to believe in him, but
one thing that does worry me, and we're going to run off the break here in just a second, bring on Jack Veltri, is the fact that Dave Canales has not really shown elite prowess when it comes to knowing which running back to go with. And to beat the Saints and to beat a Kevin Stefanski defense, not Kevin Stefanski, who's the DC for the Saints, Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
To beat a Brandon Staley defense, you're going to have to run the ball.
Yeah.
You have to run the ball. You have to be able to run it inside and outside. They're going to take away passes down the field. They play a lot of 2 high safeties. They play deep a lot. He's going to make you beat him with sustained long drives. And I don't know that Dave Canales really knows when to run Chuba and really knows when to run with Rico Dowdle or how to, substitute him in play-by-play, drive-by-drive to find that success.
Well, I'll tell you what my worry is before we run off the break, Diesel, is Tyler Shock. I mean, this guy last week was good. He threw for 282, 2 touchdowns. He had a 62-yard strike to Chris Olave and another one to Juwan Johnson. So, if you're talking about Sunday, yes, the Saints are a 3-win team. But what do we know about the NFL? It's a week-to-week league. It is a week-to-week league where that 3-12 record may not matter on paper or on the field, rather on Sunday when they play. It's at New Orleans, right?
Correct.
I just don't know. I know they're a bad team. I don't know that they're a 3-win team. I think their record's a little bit worse than what they actually are. I did see really good things out of Tyler Shough on Sunday against Tampa Bay. And look, he was good at Louisville under Jeff Brom. I think that's what worries you. The simple fact of the matter is, in these games that you've won, a lot of these games you've won, you have seen Diesel. The running backs have dragged this team to victory, and Bryce Young just tries not to F it up. I mean, that's what it comes down to outside of a few really good games he's had.
And you've needed terrible play from the opposing quarterback.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. We'll see. I don't know. I have optimism. It's a huge game. I'll tell you that. It is a huge game. I have a lot of optimism, but at the end of the day, you've got to prove it. Carolina's got to go prove it for me on Sunday. Let's talk all things South Carolina. Jack Veltri, Gamecock Central, joins the show next.
on the Fan Upstate.
When it comes to South Carolina Gamecocks, football, basketball, you name it, Jack Veltry's your guy. He's your man. You need to make sure you follow him on Twitter, Tolos, during this interview. If you have a question for the expert, get it in now. Hub City Spartanburgers text line is open. 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-326-3663. You can follow him on X at Jack T. Veltry. Jack, were you able to make it onto the tarmac to welcome Kendall Briles, or are we still being hush-hush about this whole thing?
I don't know. Honestly, guys, I have been checking the flights on, I forget the name of the website, but I have been checking the flights. I was out there on Sunday night to see if, I think it was a flight to State College, but I know there was a flight coming back from Texas earlier in the day that I was looking out for, but didn't see him. I'm not sure yet if Kendall is come back to Columbia. I know he was in town this weekend with his wife, according to some reports out there. But
did he leave?
What's up?
Did he leave?
So yeah, there was a flight back to Texas, and one can imagine that took him back on Monday. So we'll see when he comes back. But yeah, I mean, I think we can stop being hush hush about it, since it seems like the reports are going to be true that he will be the next South Carolina offense coordinator.
Jack, if you look at, the social media reaction to this, a lot of TCU fans are celebrating. They're like, oh, good. Get the guy that runs slants on third down out of here. I mean, for a guy whose offense put up 425 yards per game, it's hard to describe that as stale. Yet earlier today, I saw Brad Crawford talking about their offense, saying that it had gotten stale under Kendall Briles. How do you make sense of that?
Yeah, I think it's a question that a lot of people have, and I actually kind of went straight to the source on this to kind of see what this is all about. I was asking a TCU reporter that I got in touch with today, kind of just about that, because it is weird that TCU fans have been kind of celebrating this. And I think a lot of Gamecock fans are kind of puzzled by that. I'll have more in a story later this week on Gamecock Central about that conversation I had with this reporter. But I think a lot of it did have to do with, the accusations that were out there with the scandal from Baylor back in 2016. And I think because Briles ended up going to TCU, which is one of the rival schools for Baylor, I think that probably hit home for a lot of people. And so I think that had a lot to do with it. But also the fact that he was the guy that had to follow up what Garrett Riley did. And we all know what that TCU offense did with Max Duggan back in 2022 when the Horned Frogs went to the national championship. So I think the bar was just set so high coming in. And, I think people have their expectations super high. Maybe he didn't live up to it, but certainly I think for South Carolina, this is an offensive coordinator that just on paper has a much better track record at the college level compared to the other guys that Shane Beamer has hired.
Or maybe it's like the partner in the relationship that got broken up with, right? That's saying, oh, no, the ex wasn't any, just trying to make light of the situation because they're just devastated on the inside. Jack, when you look at this guy's past 5, 6, 7 years, he has hopped again. Do you think this could be a actual landing spot for Kendall Briles, or do you see it as just another hop in the hopscotch?
That's a good question. I think that's one that's probably going to be something worth asking whenever there is the official press conference. Once this thing actually does get announced by South Carolina, I wonder what Kendall's long-term goals are, whether it is to continue to be a coordinator or to eventually become a head coach. I mean, that would be the next lateral step, right? I mean, he was at Arkansas for a few years, went to TCU, had some success there. Now he's back in the SEC. I mean, one's got to imagine the next step for him eventually will be to become a head coach. But I think for right now, I think a lot of it does depend, though, Cole, on what South Carolina does in 2026. Because if they have a bad season, as we all know, I think we can safely assume that Shane Beamer's days could be numbered if things don't go well next season. So I think a lot of it depends on that. But if they do have a good season, I would imagine and wonder, it seems like it just depends on what this contract looks like too. So there's a lot of different variables, but I think this is probably going to be much more like a multi-year move, honestly.
Jack, I don't know how it goes at every single school when they hire a new OC, but I would highly doubt that Shane Beamer is essentially just turning the keys over to Kendall and saying, hey, it's your offense. Do 100% of what you want to do. I'm going to keep my hands off of this thing. So to that point, how would you rate, or do you trust in Shane Beamer's ability to help Kendall Briles develop his offense further, at least so it doesn't look exactly the same way it did against for TCU last year?
I think there's a certain balance you have to have, right? I think you got to let Kendall do his thing, but if things are kind of going off the rails, or it seems like he needs to be pointing in the right direction with the play calling, then maybe that's where Shane steps in. I think you got to let Kendall do his thing, and not because, I mean, let's face it, Shane has not been an offensive coordinator before. He comes from a special teams background. Not saying he doesn't know what he's doing, but what I am saying is that I think you kind of got to there can't be too many cooks in the kitchen, essentially. I think at the start, let Kendall do his thing. And if it's working, let that ride out. I think that's what we saw when he was at FAU with Lane Kiffin for 1 year of Briles had controlled the offense, called the plays, and that was that. And it seems to have been a similar situation with TCU and Sonny Dykes, because Sonny Dykes has an offensive coordinator background as well. But I think you got to let Kendall kind of do his thing. I think that's if there's going to be a right way to go about this, let him manage the offense and have some input here and there, but don't try to micromanage everything is my thought and suggestion on all this.
Jack Veltri, Gamecock Central, joining us on the Fan Upstate. Jack, do you know why the ink hasn't been put to paper yet? Why no press conference? Do you know what's delaying this right now?
To be honest, guys, I think that's kind of the mystery right now is what is taking so long. There's been the report out there that Briles did have a sit down with Sonny Dykes, and Sonny has spoken to the media today, and so he kind of put it as more of a when or if when Kendall officially signs with South Carolina. I'm not sure exactly what's taken a little bit long here, but I got to imagine that's something that will be figured out over the next few days. I think it's probably just figuring out the contract information, the salary he's going to be getting. I mean, this stuff does tend to take a little bit of time. So hopefully in the next few days here, hopefully before the end of the week, we'll have more of a solidified answer as to all those questions.
Jack, do you know if South Carolina plans to send like a Christmas card or a gift to TCU? Because South Carolina has stripped them of their AD, their OC. Clemson stripped them of their previous offensive coordinator. You gave them a nookie when mom wasn't looking. I mean, is there a possibility of even snatching Josh Hoover? Because he's only a junior, by the way. I mean, just push him down and kick him while you're at it.
Well, and here's the interesting thing with Hoover. I don't know how many people know this, but his brother Caleb actually plays baseball at South Carolina right now. He's a JUCO transfer, so that is something to keep an eye on here. Is that there is the Hoover family connection here already at South Carolina, and I think it does depend on what Lenore Sellers decides to do. Here's my thought process. I don't know what this for certain. I just feel like this is more so just my gut telling you this. I feel like Kendall Briles wouldn't have come to South Carolina without the not certainty necessarily, but knowing that Lenore Sellers is going to be a quarterback in 2026. I feel like we heard Shane kind of talk about this last week after National Signing Day, that there were some coordinators interested or people interested in this coordinator job that were wondering, hey, is Lenore going to be back next year? Is Nick Harbor going to be here? Like, that's an interesting thing to think about of, like, you get to potentially work with one of the best quarterbacks that could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country that had a little bit of a bump in the road in 2025. But I would be very interested to see if South Carolina does hit the portal for a quarterback like Hoover in case Lenore's isn't back next year.
What do you think if it is done in the next few days? What do you think was the deciding point that Beamer finally settled in on? I know, he may not have been his very first choice, but what do you think the deciding point was for Briles to come to South Carolina from Beamer's standpoint?
Well, I think for Beamer, it's got to be about getting a guy that has been there and done it at the college level. We've seen with these last few OC hires that, Mike Shula had a lot of experience in the NFL. So did Dow Loggins. So did Marcus Satterfield. And Kendall Briles has never coached in the NFL. So I think, and he's proven that he can do it at the college level, whether it is at Arkansas with a guy like KJ Jefferson, or whether it's at TCU leading the Horned Frogs to some success, and also working with a guy like Josh Hoover and having a lot of success over the last few years. I think that alone was probably enough to feel like, okay, I feel good about this hire because this guy has done it at the college level. And plus, he runs such a different style type of offense with the air raid compared to the style that South Carolina struggled so much with here.
Jack, has anybody told Kendall Briles you change schools every single year? I mean, he's spent a lot of time in Texas. He was there a large part of his career. I mean, I guess everybody has their own motivations, and maybe the ultimate factor is money. But I mean, why? If you had such a good year at TCU, why leave? Why go to South Carolina, where if it doesn't go well, the entire staff might be wiped out next year?
That's a fair question, and quite honestly, man, that is one I have for him as well. Again, I have a lot of questions whenever we get around to hopefully having this press conference here later this week potentially. But yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because he was in the SEC, he went to TCU, and now he's going to be back in the SEC. I'm not sure. I feel like the SEC is probably a step up from the Big 12, although being in Texas is, he played at Texas for a few years, has a lot of ties to that state. So this is not necessarily an easy move, I'm sure, by any means, but I don't know what the pitch was. Maybe it's about money. Maybe it's about getting the chance to work with a guy like Lenore Sellers. Maybe it's just being back in the SEC. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I wish I had a better answer for you, man, but we will certainly get that answer from Kendall himself once that press conference does happen.
Jack, my last question for you. On the hardwood, 6-3 is Lamont Paris's squad right now. A game against the Citadel on Saturday, a nice little break, Saturday to Saturday break after the win over Stetson last Saturday, 82-51. And then a week from today, they will be in Little John Coliseum taking on the Clemson Tigers. What's your gauge on this South Carolina team right now as they're making their way through this part of the schedule?
Right now they're taking care of the opponents that they're supposed to beat. Like, they're playing a lot of quad 4 games right now. The problem is they have just not proven to get the job done against high major quality competition. They've lost to Butler, Northwestern, and Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. Got one more game coming up against good competition. Like you said, Clemson will be the best team that they faced on their schedule so far. And it's one last chance to pick up kind of like an early signature win before conference play begins. And I think you really need this game next Tuesday out at Little John. My assessment is this team kind of is – I'm not convinced they're going to be great. I just have a lot of question marks right now. What's their paint presence looking like? I feel like they're kind of still missing that true front court play that they're going to need to do well in the SEC. Their three-point shooting was better on Saturday against Stetson, but it's still very inconsistent right now. And I think that's ultimately going to be this team's identity this year is they can shoot the ball really well at times, but they can also miss. And couple that with the fact that their front court is kind of just a weakness. It could turn out to be a difficult season just like last year, but I'm not ready to make any final projections on this team just yet. I feel like they got a few games here to kind of turn things around and pick it up before conference play begins in January. But, it remains to be seen if this team, is ready to face that high quality competition yet.
Jack, you posted on Sunday that the College Football Playoff Committee nailed it. Does that include Tulane and JMU?
I think you had to put both of Tulane and JMU in there. Would I personally put the group of 5 in there? I think we need to get to a point where it needs to be the best teams in. But as far as getting the 12 teams in there that the committee's supposed to get in there, I think they got it right. I think Miami over Notre Dame made a lot of sense. It proves that head-to-head matters. Everyone's going to make a debate about Alabama and BYU. My thought is Alabama was already in the playoff picture before Saturday, and you can't really knock a team for a conference title loss. Meanwhile, BYU was out of the playoff picture before Saturday in terms of the rankings. So I don't have a ton of issues with it. It's not perfect, obviously, but I think for the most part, the committee got it right.
Jack, you're the man. Appreciate you as always.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Jack Veltri, Gamecock Central. Diesel, before we run off the break, I've got to get your reaction to something. I saw this during the last commercial break, and I took a screenshot of it because this is too good not to bring to the air, and I know we got to run off the break, but I've got to get your reaction, Tolo's reaction as well. This was from our friends at WYFF News 4. A couple of hours ago, they posted this online. I'm going to read you the headline, okay? A drone dropped a package of contraband into South Carolina Lee Correctional Institution prison yard 3 weeks before Christmas. Prison officials said they are investigating and no arrests have been made. Here's the best part. What was in the package? The drone that dropped the package into the prison contained marijuana, steak, crab legs, and Old Bay seasoning.
Yes. Shows that just because you're in prison doesn't mean that you're not a human. Oh my God. That's awesome.
What in the world?
Make a movie out of that.
I mean, how does this happen, first of all? A drone dropping weed.
How do you think you're going to boil crab legs with
In
Old Bay
prison?
seasoning in a prison and not have somebody smell it?
I saw that and read the headline and thought, there's no way this is real. This is just one of those too good to be true things.
If you anticipate being in jail for a long, long time, I mean, why not?
So how's the
fun just trying to
conversation
pull it
go
off.
though with your drug rep? Like you're texting them, just like, or how? Okay, number one, how are you communicating? I guess on the phone, you get phone time. Hey man, I need my normal package of weed.
Coded messages.
Yeah. Oh, what's this new thing? You've got a drone. Okay, well, look, I'll meet you out back at sunset on Sunday evening. Drop it by that big oak tree over there in the corner of the yard, right? And oh, by the way, hey, real quick before you hang up, can you throw some crab legs and Old Bay in there for me? Like, are you kidding me?
That's great stuff.
That is one of those you can't make it up kind of stories.
Well, Cole, we're not going to have a ton of time to get into it in the next segment, but earlier we talked about how Jim Phillips is just a weak, feckless leader for the ACC. Guess what? He's not the only commissioner that sucks in the FBS. We'll talk about another just absolute weenie next.
Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Cole, what's the prerequisite in college football for going to a bowl game?
Winning 6 games.
Winning 6 games. You know who didn't win 6 games
App
and is
State.
going to a bowl game? App State. Thank you very much. And App State is only in a bowl game because apparently Temple turned it down. Well, Temple is now saying, oh, no. We never turned down a bowl invitation. We were just not given adequate time to talk to our coaches and our players. They said they never declined to play in the Birmingham Bowl, but they didn't have a chance to run it by everybody to see if they could go out there and get on the field. Well, App State said, hey, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll play the game. I don't know how they're going to field a team because a handful of guys have already declared for the draft. Handful of guys have already declared for the transfer portal, but they're going to go out there. They're going to play a football game anyway.
How many people do you have to talk to either play or not play? Like,
shouldn't it be the AD?
Yeah, you want to play? Coach. AD, coach.
Hey, this is the modern football world we live in. You don't have to get the coach's opinion. You don't have to get the AD's opinion. You don't have to get the school president's opinion. You got to go ask all the players. Hey, do you want to go play in this bowl game? Well, I think this is a terrible look here, Cole, from the Sun Belt Commissioner, Keith Gill. And I think it might even be softer than Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC. Here was a statement, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is lengthy and it says basically nothing. But he says, quote, it's certainly unusual to have 2 conference opponents square off in a bowl game, even more so when they're division rivals and long-standing history of competing against one another. We always try to construct our bowl lineup with the intent to avoid conference matchups. However, we were unable to avoid that this season, and App State and Georgia Southern will meet again. He says, with teams opting out, the bowl system required to identify replacement teams, and App State took the game, and it was not our first choice. That sounds like Keith Gill basically apologizing to all of college football and I guess to Georgia Southern for having to play their rival again, which will fill the stands.
Who won the first game?
Georgia Southern.
Was it close or?
I think I've blocked that game out of my memory, to be honest.
You don't even want to think about it.
I don't want to know.
You know what? It is interesting, though. It'd be like Clemson and Carolina playing in a bowl game.
Yeah,
I mean,
after having just played a couple of weeks before.
It'd be weird.
It's just I think it's soft. One of your teams stepped up to fill a role, and then after that decision was already made and agreed upon, he comes out and says, well, the conference didn't really want that to happen, but I guess we're going to let it happen.
Let it happen. Who cares? It's the wild
sauce.
West. Let's go to the phone lines real quick before we run off to a commercial break. Dale wants to weigh in. What's up, Dale?
Hey, if I remember correctly, some guy chose Indiana this weekend, right?
I don't know who.
I believe it was me, and I also believe you guys said, well, that was a loss.
No way you'd easily lie. Yeah, we picked Ohio State, Dale. You know why?
Honestly,
they were the #1 team in the country.
That sounds like something we would do, Cole.
It would be.
You know what? That does sound like something
we would be, but God, it's not like they lost to Temple, Dale. They lost to Ohio, or it was Ohio State that they beat.
Correct. So this was great. Okay, my wife and her family all big Buckeye fans. And after that game, from about 11:15 through 12:30, we had a discussion as to why I picked Indiana over Ohio State and why I thought before the game even started that Indiana should have been one and Ohio State too. Needless to say, I enjoyed the rest of my evening on the couch till about 2:30 playing my PlayStation when she went to bed angry.
So who won? Who won in all this?
I did. I got to play my PlayStation.
In peace and quiet.
So why did you resist for so long, Dale, getting in the Upset Picks Challenge when apparently you're so good at it?
Oh, yeah.
You had to call us and tell us that you won.
Yep.
And you had fun doing it. So why wouldn't you pick before?
I'm trying to tell you, all I do is win. I didn't have.
Oh, okay, Kirsty Daddy.
Google them. Google Dale.
Oh yeah.
Google him.
He's the guy that takes the Cowboys to the Super Bowl on PlayStation and
That's
brags
right.
about it. Thanks, Dale.
Thanks, Dale. Good stuff. Good stuff. Texter or no? Is this Dan B? Master Dad Bane? What does that say? What are we doing here? Changing our names on YouTube, Diesel? Do you know this? Do you know anything about this? Are you aware of this changing of username by Dan B?
That's not authorized. You didn't ask permission. For that.
He said, "Oh, did we hear? Did Tom move that couch this weekend?" That's funny. That's funny. We do need to find out if Tom had to move the couch. We didn't ask him that.
I asked him on Twitter the other day.
Did he move it?
Yeah, he said we're gonna wait till next week.
Oh, look at that! He won.
So he won.
He won. Diesel, I have. I've had enough. I've mulled on it. I've thought about it, and I think I've got to sound off. What are we doing here? I think we're just absolutely missing the mark on something. We've talked about it already, but I just don't know how anyone defends this. That's next. want to ask you, Diesel, to tell me what the normal world definition is of DEI. You know what DEI stands for, right?
Drunkenness, inebriation, and intoxication.
Well, congratulations. That was well done.
Inebriation with an E, or was that?
I don't know, but I'm going to go with
That was off the top of my head.
That was well done off the top of your head. You didn't write it down. It stands for what? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. College football, I am here to tell you, has its own DEI.
Oh, God.
Didn't earn it.
You watch Outkick, don't you?
Didn't earn it. Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter if it's Outkick. It doesn't matter if it's Dewey's YouTube channel. It doesn't matter if it's CNN. Whoever's telling you this, believe them. Because these teams that we're talking about, that we've talked about for the past 3 days, have not earned a single thing to be in the college football playoff. James Madison, Diesel, and Tulane, DEI didn't earn it. And let me say this, and then I want to hear your response because I know what side of this you're on. And I'm struggling in my head to figure out how people are defending this. I want to know if the purpose of this entire college football playoff is to award the best teams. Diesel, there's no world whatsoever in which JMU and Tulane could actually win a national championship. They didn't earn the spot at the table. The goal needs to be the best teams in college football, the best, period. Notre Dame and BYU should be mad at the fact that we have a system that allows 2 cupcakes to steal bids, Diesel. They shouldn't be mad at Miami. They shouldn't be mad at whoever else. They should be mad at the system for allowing this to happen. I want to know why we're okay with this, because I truly don't believe people in your camp that want a G5 in truly believe one of these 2 teams can win a national championship. Diesel, JMU played one Power 4 team this season. It was Louisville. They lost by 2 touchdowns to Louisville. This is not a welfare system. Have your own championship. This is a waste of 2 perfectly good spots, and I think we need to have that conversation come to an end.
Cole, what are those things called that when you make an agreement with somebody, you bring your lawyers, we bring our lawyers, they all sit in a room, they write up this document, and at the end of the session they sign it. What are those things called? Contracts. Oh yeah. Contracts. Those pesky little things called contracts. You know why the G5 gets in? Because there's a contract that says they get in.
But why?
Everyone agreed to it. Everyone signed off on it. Everyone said it could happen. Everyone said it should happen. They liked it. They went along with, even if they didn't like it, they went along with it and they signed the contract. You say DEI. I say DEA. Did everything asked of them. They did everything that was asked of them. They played their conference schedules. They played, at least in Tulane's part, I think played 3 power conference teams. They beat 2 of them. So congratulations. It was Northwestern and Duke. Northwestern and Duke. Hey, Tulane beat the ACC champ. That's got to count for something. That happened this season. And then you look at the fact that the ACC just crapped the bed. Virginia crapped the bed. They did everything that was asked of them. It's in the contract that if these certain list of parameters happen, these are the conference champs that get in. And it is what it is. Sorry you don't like it, but it is what it is. It's in the contract.
Tolos, where do you stand? 844-326-3663. The Hub City Spartan Burgers text lines there, but also the phone lines have just been opened back up. Want to hear from you. I guess my whole question is, Diesel, why do the people who are making these decisions think that this is a good idea? Because I just cannot find myself in a world in which I think that if, again, it depends what our goal is. If our goal is to allow, diversity, whatever, if our goal is to have the best 12 teams in the college football playoff, I just don't understand how you can tell me that these are 2 of the 12 best teams. Is that not our goal?
Diversity was the goal. Remember what we were talking about when it came to the college football playoff in the round of 4? Oh, it's all SEC and Big Ten, and there's no Big 12 fan bases involved in this thing, and there's no there's no Pac-12 fan bases involved in this thing, and there's a lot of times there's no ACC fan bases involved in this thing. We got to spread this thing out. Diversity, equity, and inclusion was the point all along. It was never about getting the best 12 teams in. It was never about stacking it with 5 SEC teams and 4 Big Ten teams and a couple of scraps for whoever else was left.
So then that would say, if what you're saying is true, that would say that the people who are in charge of this college football playoff have told us lie after lie after lie. Because all we've heard is this goal this year's this goal this next year's this. Well, we want to do this. Well, our goal is to get the best 12 teams in, because like if I get the opportunity to sit face to face across from you, Diesel, or whoever made these rules, or whoever thought it was a good idea, and man, I wish I would have talked more about it at ACC kickoff when you and I had one of the committee members, right?
Oh yeah, gosh,
you know what I'm talking about,
see
right?
His face. What was
we
his
had
name?
him on? We had him on the show. He's one of the committee. He was in the room last year when all that happened. I wish I could ask him about that. Maybe we'll get another opportunity. But my point being, I want to know from the horse's mouth.
Wasn't Ward Manuel?
No, it wasn't Ward Manuel. I want to know from the horse's mouth, Diesel, from the horse's mouth. Why do we keep hearing all of these different objectives? I want to know, what is the clear objective that we're trying to accomplish with this college football playoff? Because if that's not the objective, whatever, fine. I'm okay with it. But if the objective is getting the best teams in, this is not getting the best teams in, period.
Yeah, they sold you a TV product. That's what the playoff is. It's a TV product designed to get the largest possible audience to pluck teams from all different areas of the country so that a larger percentage of people have a reason to watch this thing. That was the point all along. And maybe some of y'all got into your minds that, well, this is about crowning the best team in college football. No, it was never about that. A very large portion of the field does meet that criteria, but not 100% of the field meets that criteria.
But who wants to watch JMU and Tulane? Like, if that's the goal, I mean,
I do.
You do?
I do.
You really do?
Yeah, I do. I do. I want to see if a small team can hold their own.
I mean, I'll watch, like, if they show the cheerleaders or something. I mean, it would. I don't know. I have no desire to watch JMU get just trampled by Oregon.
So you're making a bad faith argument here. You're making an argument based on bias. I don't like them. Their stadiums aren't big enough. Their budgets aren't big enough. Their tight end's not 6'7". Nope. I don't think they stand a chance. And that is bias. But Cole, have you gone back and looked at, we only have, by the way, 1 year of sample size when it comes to the 12-team college football playoff and letting a G5 team in. We have 1 year of sample size. So you're basing all of this on a preconceived notion and next to no data. Okay? That's what you're basing this on. That's the entirety of your supposition. Go back, though, and look at the closest equivalent that you can, which is the G5 getting a spot in the New Year's Six bowls. Those are teams playing. Those are a G5 team playing a team that would probably be sitting there in the 7, 8, 9, 10 range when it comes to the college football playoff. They went 4-7 in those games, winning. That's roughly 35%. 35% of those games, the G5 teams won.
Well,
so this whole idea that they can't win a game in the G5 in the Power Conference playoff is bunk, because historical data, the closest equivalent we have, says that they can.
Well, what I would say is, to try to debunk that, is that we have seen more than 1 year of this. What am I talking about? Well, let's ask the question, why did a G5 team never win the BCS championship? Well, I'll tell you why. The BCS used human polls, computer rankings, strength of schedule metrics, right? Power Conference teams almost always had stronger schedules, Diesel. Pollsters always had the Power 5 teams by default. We didn't allow the junk to make its way in. Let's just put it like it is here, that we didn't allow the junk to filter its way in. Strength of schedule almost made it mathematically impossible for a G5 team to get into the BCS. So if that never happened during the BCS, why are we allowing it now? Why?
That's a phenomenal question. Why did the powers that be who built the college football playoff the way that it is feel that they had to put those kind of teams in? If that's the case, why even count wins over G5 teams for your bowl eligibility? Why do you count it? Why do you even put them on the schedule?
If they had a different playoff, maybe they would.
If you don't see any value in playing them at all,
yeah,
why do you get to count them towards your bowl eligibility? Look, it was a famous theme song, and our next caller, I know will know this theme song. I believe it was the Jeffersons, where they sing, they finally got their piece of the pie. The G5 finally got its piece of the pie. And you and all these people that I've seen on social media, all they want to do is snatch that food out of their mouths. And I think it's despicable. I think it's absolutely despicable. I think it's anti-competition. And y'all don't understand the spirit of what college football is supposed to be about. This year is an anomaly. The funny thing is that you've had 2 years of anomalies in a row, which nobody expected to happen. Nobody expected Boise State to get a bye in the first round last year, and nobody expected the ACC to crap the bed the way that they did this year. All it would have taken was Virginia to not lose to a 5-loss Duke team, and we're not even having this conversation. People might be saying, well, you still shouldn't put Tulane in there, but we're not having this whole conversation about why you shouldn't be included at all.
Let's go to the phone lines, 844-326-3663. It's the way you can call in the show. If you're watching the show live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, get in there. 168 Tolos watching on those 3 platforms right now. Dan B wants to weigh in. What's up, Dan?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to ask, I get Diesel's point of we got what we asked for. They did what they were asked of. But I was going to ask you, should we change it? But it sounds like you like the way it is. And this might be the first time me and you've ever disagreed, because I don't like the way this is. And like I said yesterday,
Why?
Because I want it to be the top 12 teams.
Did you like it last year?
No, I don't know. Yeah.
You don't know?
No. I know I don't like it last year. No, sorry. I'm trying to be clear there. But I want the top 12 teams in. If one of those G5s makes it to the top 12 and the BCS computer says they deserve it, then I'm okay. I'd be okay with it. I don't have any problems there. But I don't think a USFL team should ever get a chance to play in the NFL playoff. So I get that's not exactly apples to apples, because it's a whole nother league, not just a conference. But, in all the other sports, all the conferences are as about a parity as they can be. Some years, obviously, more than others. But in college football, that's not the way it works. Big schools, small schools. It just is what it is.
So Dan, you know how everybody's been dunking on Notre Dame for the last 48 hours over the childish way that their athletic directors behaved after getting left out?
Sure.
That's the way every other college football fan who says, I don't like this, I want to take my ball and go home, that's how y'all are acting too. You're doing the exact same thing.
No, we're acting with logic. We're acting with logic. It makes no sense that these teams are in.
As a Husker fan, I'm not taking my ball and going home just because we didn't make it. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, you're saying it's a lesser tournament, and some people are saying you're not going to watch.
We're going to watch because we're going to watch regardless. Maybe that's what the NCAA knows. Like, the ratings, if Notre Dame was in instead of Tulane, is that game going to get more ratings? I don't know, maybe, because it's Notre Dame. But what would you say? BYU would be the other team in?
Yeah.
Would that game get more ratings?
And again, I think, by the way, thanks for the call, Dan. Really good
Appreciate
call.
it, Dan.
I think the biggest thing I want to know, Diesel, is from the people who decided this, the people who decided it. I just want to know the reason. You know me. I'm open to it. I'm open. And 99.9% of things, I try to be, open. I want to see both sides. I want to be able to determine. I would like to know for them. I'd like for them to come out and say, hey, here's the reason we're letting these 2 teams in. I just want to know why. And if somebody can convince me that there's a good reason to have them in, then maybe I'll change my mind. It goes back to any other argument. We had the argument last week with the whole, the charter schools and winning championships against public schools. Until I hear an argument that changes my mind, and in that case, I hadn't heard one yet that changed. In this case, I haven't heard why these two teams should be allowed in.
Well, I guess we need to chase down the people who designed the college football.
I'm sending an email right now
and say, why did you choose to do this? Why did you feel like you had to give them access?
Why has that not been asked? I want to know why that question has not been asked. Like, what? Tiger Pal Rachel on the text line, Hub City Spartanburgers text line 844-326-3663. Tiger Pal Rachel says G5 can win that game, but they can't win 3-4 to get to the Natty? ? Texter from the 360 says same arguments could be had in basketball. A team in tournament with no chance, but basketball proves no matter how many teams, people will complain. Texter Tiger Pal Rachel says, should a Power 4 national champion and a G5-6 national championship, that's more fair to the G5 teams anyway.
I love how it's always fans of the Power 4 teams telling G5 fans what's fair for them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hey, you go over there and you sit at the kids' table and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be quiet.
And you wonder why G5 fans push back. All I can say is them's the rules. Them's the rules.
Dumb rules.
That's the contract. You signed it. I think it's bad faith to agree to a deal and then immediately try to change it when you don't get
I
your
think
way
it's horrible.
and you don't like it's
I agree with you on that. I think it's horrible. I mean, why do you sign it in the first place?
I mean, it all kind of boils down to a very simple and very basic argument, Cole. Them's the rules, cry harder.
Well, I'm going to.
That's all I could say is cry harder.
All I'm saying
is what it is.
I would like to have been sitting in that room, in the committee room, when they were up till 2 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. in the morning because they were working so hard, till 2:30 is what they said like 19 times on the selection show. I would just like to have said, guys, let's back up. I want to know from you. And I said on Twitter, I thought the committee got it right as well. I want to be very clear. I thought they got it right when it comes to Miami getting in. These two teams here, you said it. They're the rules. We kind of have to, be okay with it. I would just have liked to have asked the committee, guys, do we really believe that the 12 best teams in college football are in the college football playoff? Let's go around the room. There's 12 of you. Yes or no? You go first. You go next. You go next. Are the 12 best teams today, we have a table in front of us, a conference table that's made out of this nice wood diesel that costs like $8 million. All this data is on this table. Let's go through all this data and make sure that we have the 12 best teams. Okay, we've done that. You're telling me JMU and Tulane are two of the best 12 teams in the country?
Nope, but they did what they were asked to do.
Dumb.
They did what they were asked to do.
They should have thrown the table, flipped it like the synagogue. I just can't be okay with it.
Dan says us fans didn't agree to anything. We're just being told how it's going to be. Well, Dan, you seem to think that the playoff is for you. The playoff is not for you. The playoff is for the shareholders who make all the money because you're going to watch no matter what. Ha! You are the product. The games are not the product.
Got.
You are the product.
David says, didn't they say it was because they were conference champions and they had to have 5 conference winners? Dan also says, fair point. We as the fans aren't ever going to get rid of that kind of chance. On the Hub City Spartanburgers text line, RJ says DEI to me always registers as Dell Earnhardt Incorporated. Long live the Intimidator.
Yep.
Texter from the 814 says, is Khalil Barnes transferring going to hurt Clemson tremendously? Texter, I don't know that one player on this defense, as bad as the defense was at times for Clemson, is going to hurt them tremendously. Is it going to hurt them? Yeah, maybe so, but that's what you have the portal for. Dabo Sweeney should look at the Khalil Barnes, which that news broke earlier today, and say, okay, well, Khalil Barnes transferred out. No biggie. Let's go get no offense to Khalil Barnes, Diesel, but there are a lot of other Khalil Barnes in the transfer portal. I don't mean that disrespectful, but you have the portal. Go use it, right? So I don't want to hear this like, oh, well, we lost Khalil Barnes. Like, no, who cares? You go get somebody else. Let's see. Texter says, all I can say as a Florida fan or a Florida State fan is welcome to the Alabama Invitational. That comes from Randy. The Alabama. What? Come on, Texter. Randy, are you serious?
Randy does make a good point here. He says, everyone knew the rules when they started the season. If you want to be in the playoff, you have 12 games to win those, and you're in. End of discussion. That comes from Randy. Everyone knew the rules when they started the season. I didn't see anybody opting out of the season because they didn't like the prospect of a G5 team getting in.
But who agreed to these dumb rules? Who again, I'm not mad at the
conference commissioners.
Jeez, what are we?
Greg Sankey signed off on it. Tony Petitti signed off on it. Jim Phillips signed off on it. They all
Jim
signed
didn't know
off
what he
on
was
it.
signing. Jim was just giving a pin. Jim Phillips was just giving a pin. They signed this, Jim. Wait till I see Greg Sankey at the next event.
Look,
I'm going to have a piece of my mind.
I am under no delusions, Cole, that the system that we have right now, which is the 5 highest ranked conference champions. And by the way, nobody expected the Pac-12 to implode and get gobbled up by the Big Ten. Nobody expected the ACC to be historically bad. If Clemson is Clemson of old, of the last decade, we're not having this discussion. If Virginia wins in the conference championship game, we're not having the discussion. I'm under no delusions, Cole, though, that they are not going to change the rules the moment they have an opportunity to schedule a meeting. That is going to happen.
Should have done that already.
Going to happen.
Should do it today.
So, hey, as a G5 fan, I'm gonna enjoy inclusion in the playoff this year because I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they will break that contract, that they will screw the G5, and they will box them out of the playoff entirely.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you want your own playoff? I mean, don't you want to be able to see who the best G5 team is?
I don't want that playoff. I don't want to be, number one, I don't want to be told that I should just accept that playoff and like it.
Well, that's what we're being told, though. We're being told that we have to accept these two G5 losers.
But you get 11 out of 12, Cole. You get 11 out of 12. This year you get 10, but that's because Virginia couldn't beat a 5-loss Duke. And that's because Clemson sucked this year. Okay?
We're being told it. Why can't you be told it? We don't like, nobody likes this except for like 13 people. And that's what I don't understand. Now, the question that we have to ask before we run off to a break. This is not going to happen, I don't think. I also said I thought, Ohio State would beat Indiana, but we all will, not you, we all will look really, 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 really dumb if somehow, some way JMU were to beat Oregon. Wouldn't we? I mean, what would that conversation be like next or the following Monday?
Would that change your mind if it happened?
Yeah.
Would it change your mind if JMU, let's just call it, beats the spread? 20 and a half
20,
points?
something like that.
Let's say Oregon beats them by 10. It's a close game.
They hold their weight.
Does that change your mind and say, you know what? Maybe we should include the G5 in this playoff. Does that change your mind?
That's a good question.
What if I would not have set up a rematch between Ole Miss and Tulane. I think that's a bad look. I also wouldn't have set up a potential rematch between Georgia and Ole Miss. I wouldn't have done that either, but that's how they seeded the playoff. It is what it is. Cole, I have some ideas, some thoughts on if they forced it down our throats, and legally there's probably not a whole lot the G5 can do about it, what I think the G5 should accept. I want to touch on that because I don't want to walk away from this conversation yet. And I'm going to ask you a Christmas question next. arguing playoff and should the G5 get a seat at the table. Cole very adamantly says no. I say it is what it is. You signed the contract. You made your bed. Sleep in it. I know Cole full well, though, that this thing is going to change. I know it's going to happen. There's absolutely no way that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti and Jim Phillips and whoever the commissioner of the Big 12 is, they're going to let this stand. They're not going to let it stand. The problem is, Cole, I know that I am counting on Tom Pernetti, the commissioner of the American Conference, Keith Gill from the Sun Belt. We already talked about my feelings about him. Gloria Navarez from the Mountain West, John Steinbrecher from the MAC, Judy McLeod from Conference USA, and what's her name? Teresa Gold, the commissioner of the PAC, whatever that's going to be one of these days, to go head-to-head with those four. And that's where it's going to get real tough, because all those 6 commissioners can do now is get the absolute most they can get while the getting is good.
It's true.
Get it in writing, get it solidified, make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, because, again, this thing is going to change in the future. So we're kind of flipping roles here from our last conversation just a little bit, Cole. But I am going to argue on behalf of the G6, because it's not Group of 5, it's G6, because the PAC is not going to be a power conference when it finally gets up and off the table. And you are arguing on behalf of the Power 4. And I'm making some demands. All right. So if you want to break the contract, I'm giving you an opportunity to rework this contract, okay? So that it can work out for everyone's benefit. So that you can get what you want, which is rid of us. Okay. So here's my list of demands.
Okay.
And I understand full well that demand number 1 is not going to be met.
Okay.
Irrevocable guaranteed access to the college football playoff, which is what they have now. Just honor the deal and shut up about it. No, I kind of figured. I kind of figured that would be your answer. Okay, we're establishing where we are and where we're going to be probably in a couple of months when this contract comes back open.
Okay.
Second demand. I want an 8-team G5 playoff fully funded by the Power 4 conferences, fully promoted by and slotted in prime time on a date to be determined by ESPN. So that means carriage on the 4-letter network.
Yeah.
And that means a playoff that cannot die on the vine because y'all choose not to fund it.
Because you didn't have any money.
Because there's no money.
Yeah. Let me
Is
think
it worth funding an 8-team playoff to get rid of us? Fully funding it to a dollar figure that's an acceptable amount, whatever that may be.
I've heard some crazy stories of men writing checks to get rid of women. I'm telling you, I have heard some crazy
run commercials for that guy. What are you talking about?
We have. I'm telling you. Is it sellable? I guess. Like, is it more? If I can make it, I mean, maybe I'm thinking through it in my head for the first time, right? In real time.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I do think the G5, like, here's my whole thing. If I'm a coach or a player in the G5, Diesel, if I work my butt off all winter, all spring, and all summer, I want to have a chance to win a championship. I have no chance right now to win a championship. None. I want to be able to compete in a conference where I'm playing dudes that I look like, that I'm the same height as, that I, the same LBs, at least close to it. Okay. I want to win a championship. So yeah, I think we could work something out there.
Okay. So you're willing to pay for our playoff.
Can you tell us the price on that? I don't know. I need to know the price.
I don't know. And the reason why I say that, fully funded by the Power 4, is because I have watched, as a fan of a team that was an FCS team at the time, I have watched the coverage, the time slot, the quality of the announcers, the production value, et cetera, fall for the FCS playoffs so far that most people don't even know when it's on.
Yeah.
And that I think encapsulates my fear of what the Group of 5 playoff becomes if it's not fully funded, fully promoted by, and slotted in prime time on the 4-letter network.
No, I get that.
Because I know that's what will happen. I've seen it with my own eyes happen before.
Yeah, I could see that happen.
Okay.
But I'm on board with that.
Okay. That's demand number 1 for a new playoff. Okay. You got to pay for it. You got to put it on in a good time slot. Number 2, fully guaranteed scheduling agreements of at least one G5 matchup every season for a Power 4 opponent. So you got to play us. Everybody's got to play us at least once
in the regular season. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Which is pretty much what we have now.
Yeah.
That's not
totally
far
fine.
off. But you also got to pay us more.
Why?
If you want to get rid of us, you got to pay us more.
Already paid you. I'm paying for your championship. That, do you know how much that? Did you not just see that price tag you gave me?
Y'all are paying about $1.5 million a game to play a G5 team. When Clemson brings in Troy, when South Carolina brings in Akron, you're paying about $1 million.
Couple million. Yeah.
Sometimes it's $750,000. Sometimes it's $2 million. So you're paying about $1.5 million. You got to pay more than that. You want to get rid of us? You got to pay more than that. Because we're losing out on revenue by not being in your playoff. You made us go away, so we're losing revenue.
But you'll gain that revenue back by being in your own playoff that we're going to fund.
Okay.
We're going to fund it for you. You want too much over there. You're wanting too much.
Do you know how much money the college football playoff makes?
A lot of money.
That's my point.
A lot of money.
That's my point.
But we're not going to make any money off of you. We're not going to make any money off of James Madison. Our graphic designer had to ask what the logo was when they created this playoff. Zach, you heard Zach talking. We didn't know where JMU, what the logo was.
Well, that's it. That's all I want.
I'm good with one of them. I told you, I'll pay for the
more when you
playoffs.
play us.
I want to know what the cost of the playoff
That
is.
money, by the way, the amount that G5s get paid to play Power 4 opponents, that's always going to go up on a year-by-year basis. That's going to happen. I mean, think about it this way. Way back in the day, I think App State got like $350,000 to play at Michigan in 2007, 18 years ago. They got paid $400K. Now those agreements are going up to $1.5 million, $2 million plus.
But let me ask you this, though, from a gambling standpoint. You're telling me that, like, I don't know when it would happen. Let's say over the next 2.5 weeks, Diesel. You're telling me that college football fans wouldn't be intrigued to watch the best G5s go off in a playoff and play in JMU, Tulane, all these other teams out there, the App States of the world when they're really good and all the money that's spent on gambling right now. I mean, you know how much money is spent on these Maction midweek games just from the Vegas standpoint because people are, hey, it's the only football game on. I think there's something to be said from a gambling standpoint that there might be some viability with a G5 playoff.
Cole, do you know who won the FCS National Championship last year?
Dakota.
Well, that's an easy one. Okay, because they win it almost all the time.
Well, you asked a Dakota team. And, yeah, I do because you and I actually talked about it the day of. Remember, it was North versus South, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it North versus South? Am I wrong on that?
It was, by the way, it was the South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
Yeah, they beat North Dakota because
they beat Montana.
I thought they beat North Dakota State. No, they beat Montana. You're right.
National championship game was. So you didn't even know.
I knew it was one of the Dakotas because they're in it every year. They're in it every year.
Yeah.
Montana. Now that you say that, I do remember. But I'm bad with memory. I forgot who was in last year's Super Bowl. I'm bad. Who won the Masters? I'm bad on that kind of stuff. So don't throw that. Look. I would gamble on the freaking G5 playoff. Is all I'm saying. Prize Picks? Are you kidding me? You think Prize Picks wouldn't want more opportunities?
Let's go without memory here, Cole. Who is still playing in the FCS championship right now? We're in the round of, I'll let you guess.
16?
How many teams are left? Wrong.
8.
There you go.
I knew it was one of those. I was close, 50-50.
Can you name me a team or two that's still playing in the FCS playoffs right now?
Yes, I can name
Don't just say Dakota.
North Dakota State.
Wrong. They lost.
Are you serious?
They lost.
That's breaking news right there. That should be
got beat by Illinois State.
Okay, Illinois State's in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Illinois State's in it. Montana's in it. They're defending champs.
They are.
Yeah,
Montana is in it.
South Dakota State. They brought back everybody.
No, really South Dakota State's not in it.
They lost.
They
okay.
lost. They lost to Montana.
Yeah, one of those Florida teams. Maybe no. I don't know. I don't know.
So but that's my point. Do you say, will people pay attention to it? When you don't pay attention to one division down right now, Why would you pay attention
Bad
to one
timing.
division down?
Bad timing. Bad timing.
I'm just saying, you're not going to. You're not going to. You're going to have the fever pitch debating, Ole Miss and Oregon and Ohio State. You're not going to pay attention to it.
And I'm also not going to pay attention when JMU's down 25 in a college football playoff game. Are you kidding me?
You're going to tune into the beginning of the game, and that's all the advertisers care about. They got your attention for a little while.
Gosh, the very beginning. All right, Jersey Joe wants to weigh in. 844-FAN phone. What do you have to say about all this mess, Jersey Joe?
Oh, first of all, yes, that's what it is. It's a mess. But second of all, I do believe that the college football playoffs, that's right, college football playoffs, it's not the Power 4 college football playoffs, it's the college football playoffs. That's where I do believe this should be expanded to 16 teams, and then you take the top 16 record teams. Doesn't matter if you're Power 2, Power
Liberty will
8,
be in every year.
Power 50, Power whatever school you're in. It's the college football playoffs. Where you start with the undefeated teams, if there's any, then you put them in first. After that, you go to the one-loss teams, put them in next.
No, Joe.
After that, you go to the two-loss teams.
No.
Until you get to 16.
No, that's a horrible idea. You have no metrics, and oh my God, you play upward growing up. Look. Everybody deserves a trophy. Here's the reality of it: you take out metrics. Liberty's in every year. Metrics and data have to mean something, Joe.
I'm sorry. Every team deserves a chance.
Oh my gosh!
Thanks, Joe.
Joe, I used to like you, Joe.
Intelligent man, Joe.
Everybody deserves a trophy. How much do you pay him to call in on that one?
So what happens when James Madison ends the season at number 16 and just making up a team? I don't know who's the 17th ranked team right now. Let's call it Iowa State. I'm just guessing.
Might be.
Would you say, well, Iowa State has a better chance to beat the 1 seed Georgia or Indiana? Don't you think that Iowa State has a better chance to beat Indiana than James Madison does as the 16 seed? And then you make the argument that they still don't belong and they should be pushed out and they shouldn't be in there at all.
Bottom line is, I just think there's too much money spent on this sport for us to just allow anybody in. Come on, guys. We've got to do better. We got too much data, too much analytics, too many measurements. We've got to do better with this. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I get a text from somebody we used to know, who I don't know what kind of point he's trying to make, but he just sends me my name. He's trying to make a point.
I know what kind of point he's. I already know. Hey, real quick, I want my Christmas question.
Oh,
don't forget. Don't forget.
Yeah,
don't forget. Yeah. I need my Christmas because you got me in the mood.
Yeah. What do you put on your table for Christmas dinner? That's the question. You just rehash Thanksgiving over again.
I think we get tired of all that rehash because nobody eats turkey outside of Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving's the one time, for whatever reason, we as a country say, hey, let's put a turkey on the table. I tell you what, Diesel, to answer that question, the last few years, I've said, let's do away with the rehashing, the leftovers, ham, all let's do away. I like the Italians. You know what Italians do on Christmas? Food-wise?
Oh, good. I'm glad you specified.
Sorry. Food-wise.
No, I don't.
Lasagna.
Really?
Yep. It's a big, if we have any Italian people in the audience, they'll tell you I'm right on. It's a big, last few years, we've gone lasagna.
Lasagna and gravy.
I'm also a fan of steaks. Let's just make it easy. Let's just go steaks on
Yeah, we do
Christmas.
prime rib.
I love that.
We do prime
Let's
rib.
go prime rib or steaks. Throw them on the grill. Be done with it. No more turkey. No more turkey.
What happened to the Christmas goose? We as a people used to have Christmas goose, but we don't. We protect the Canada geese nowadays.
I'm a big fan of this lasagna on Christmas thing, man. I think we might need to, as a nation, come together and say, look, I know we have problems with other countries out there, but I think this Italy's onto something here. A lasagna on Christmas Day. I think that's a pretty, a big old, those long pieces of bread that you get 2 or 3 of them. You can't go wrong with a good lasagna, man.
But I think there's far too many Tolos that just redo turkey again.
Yeah, you don't.
They do ham. They do turkey.
No,
you should have rabbit, I guess. Maybe dove.
Oh God, now we're talking. Those are deli meats. Let's get rid of the deli meats and let's go steak. Let's go prime rib. Let's go lasagna. I love to cook, you know that. I love making lasagna. I'm team lasagna on Christmas Day.
I had Stouffer's lasagna last night.
I love Stouffer's lasagna.
It was good.
Stouffer's lasagna
from the freezer section. It was good.
So, Rob Jones was hating on that the other day. Stouffer's. I had we about fought.
I mean, it's a good idea to church it up a little bit, add some cheese, add some seasonings. But
yeah, but it's still so good.
Hey,
it's easy.
Ready in an hour? Come on.
Now I'm hungry again. It's 5:45, and we have to keep talking. Oh, by the way, last segment, because we've got Furman basketball coming up next. Hope is still alive. Next.
and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Well, Diesel, on, what was it, Friday of last week, I cried on this show. I was upset. You played this like 9.5-minute edit about my Dallas Cowboys and how the season was over. And all weekend, I lost a lot of weight, didn't eat, didn't sleep. It just wasn't right. But you know what made things better? Again, last night, the Philadelphia Eagles made life better. And I'll tell you why. I know you're going to laugh. I know what you're going to say. I know what's coming. However, Diesel, this season is not dead yet.
Oh.
We are not done yet. And in fact, all that has to happen for the Dallas Cowboys to make the playoffs and win the division is the Philadelphia Eagles have to lose 2 of their next 4 games. They've lost 2 games in a row, or 3 games in a row. They have 2 games against the Commanders, a game against the Raiders, and a game against the Bills. If the Philadelphia Eagles lose 2 of their next 4, which is possible, they're losing to the Bills, and the Cowboys win their next 4.
Oh, God. Really?
The next 4.
You need a lot
Diesel
to go right.
Diesel, the Dallas Cowboys will be NFC East champions. Hope is still alive.
It's like that scene in a zombie movie where the hand bursts through the dirt and it sticks out of the grave.
It's not over
You're
yet,
not dead
baby.
yet.
It's not over yet. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Well,
it probably won't. But I'm just telling you, if we can have something to pull for, something to dream about, we'll take it.
Do you know who the Eagles play in the last 4 games?
Yeah. The Eagles play the Bills, the Commanders twice, and the Raiders once.
Yeah, the Commanders are awful. The Raiders
But Jaden Daniels is back. They're going to get him one time, I think. And the Eagles are awful. Diesel, last night, Jalen Hurts looked like me and you out there in the backyard. That guy
was going to cry.
Oh, he was horrible last
How do you
night.
commit 2? Did it go down officially on the score sheet that he committed 2 turnovers on one play?
It should. It should. It was
How do you
that
throw
bad.
an interception and a fumble on the same play?
It was, I'm telling you, he was real bad last night. But all I'm saying is, Cowboy fans out there, don't give up hope yet. This thing ain't over yet.
Tolos, join us tomorrow. Give us your upset picks.